the Bulldozer Matt Tremont, the 8-time Deathmatch Tournament winner, the former 2-time world champion, the owner of H2O Wrestling. And if there is one podcast to listen to, that is the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get ultraviolet, motherfuckers.
And good evening once again, fans. You're listening to the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. They're more than welcome to come on, too, anytime they want to come on.
Oh, man, the girls pop good like.
All right. It's a budget thing. Let's see what he's up to.
Thank you, man, and thank you for giving me the time.
Tune in right now. And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. At this time, I guessed the one and only Darkheart. How are you, man?
Doing very well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good for Thursday night. I think it's Thursday. Yeah. The weather's been screwing with me lately.
See, it's first time it's been 80 degrees here in San Antonio, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, the snow's melting, thank God. You know, I thought we were going to get like a huge snowstorm this week, but you know, it was nothing. It was nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't miss that weather at all.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I was born in North Dakota. Go figure, right? Like the weather-wise, different.
Northern Virginia, so yeah. I hear you on that one.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, besides the weather, what's going on in your world of wrestling these days?
Well, as far as wrestling goes, here recently I just became champion for 2 different companies. One out of Louisiana known as Elevate Pro, and then also one out of Pensacola, Florida, Coastal Wrestling Federation. So I'm currently the heavyweight champion of both promotions.
And you know what? 2-belt champ, right? As they say. Or
2-belt champ, yeah, first ever 2-belt champ on top of that, which is a really cool thing.
Yeah, to accomplish that, and you know, just work your way up to, you know, always it's a strive to, you know, to get the gold, you know, like every time you step in the ring, win, lose or draw, yeah, you put yourself out there just to, you know, you want it. It's a challenge, you know, and when you get rewarded by, you know, defeat.
Yeah,
man,
win. You can't be any more right. Just because you know, I started training in Pensacola, Florida, back in 2009, and then shortly after being there for 5 years, I left that area to join up with Booker T, the Reality of Wrestling out of Houston, Texas, and then just recently I've been going back to Florida just because you know. I enjoy just that area, you know. The beach is so much nicer there in Florida, man. You know, when I moved away, the beaches were nothing like Florida. So, you know, when I went back, it was good to be back there. And the crowd there was they're so invested, and it's awesome.
Yeah. You know what? It's like me, man. I live at the shore, you know, like 5 minutes from the beachfront, you know, or 10 minutes from the beach. But, you know, it's like wrestling's big in Jersey too. You know that. I'm sure you know, like you've seen that you know, it's a big empire. It's changed our lifestyle of wrestling these days. Like it's really come back to but I wish it was like back to the nostalgia days, you know, also to the throwbacks, you know.
If only, man. If only. You know, ever since the Vince McMahon came and started buying up the territories and changed the landscape, you know, it's hard to go back to the olden days. You know, wrestling here in Texas, you know, you hear stories about the Von Erichs, and you know, you hear about legends. You know, Von Erichs are huge here. So whenever you try to relate to wrestling, I always just like, well, you know the Von Erichs, and they're like, oh yeah, we know them, because that is big here in Texas on the Von Erichs. So that's their,
Yeah.
I guess, your stomping ground, you could say.
Yeah, talk about the Von Erichs, man. What a crew that was. Like that, they're the in ring skills. Growing up watching them, that was like a team to like catch your eye and be like, yeah, these guys are badass. They're just gonna throw it all on the line, versus anybody and everybody, and just did what they could,
Yeah, they're one of the big wrestling families that anybody can relate to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Generations to generations to generations to generations. I believe like now one of the sons is on TV or something, and one of the other Von Erichs. That's unbelievable,
Yeah, I think the last time I was watching it was NWA, the promotion that was running on YouTube. So
yeah, man. But nowadays, you look at these tag teams, you're like, wow, who are these guys? Who are these guys? But then you look at AEW, and everybody catches their eye on who's on. You see, yeah, there's the Dudley Boys sons. You see Billy Gunn's sons. Taz's son is gonna get a shot. Pretty soon or whatever.
Yeah, I try to follow AEW as much as I possibly can, but with so much wrestling going on these days, it's hard to try to keep up. Every day of the week there's some kind of wrestling. You got Raw on Mondays, NXT's on Tuesday now, AEW's on Wednesday. I don't even, is Impact even still running? I can't even honestly tell you. I know they are, but I don't know the days. But and then Friday is SmackDown. So
yeah, they're connected with they got a contract. I think they're working with what AEW now. That's what I heard.
Yeah, so they're on Tuesdays too, so it's hard to keep up with who's running on what day and like what who to follow. So I'm just trying to watch whatever we can.
Yeah, but what's always awesome about AEW is they have the dark matches. The dark AEW dark, and you can catch who to see, who's going to be the next. Give it a shot and try.
Oh yeah. I think that's cool that AEW does that. Has I know their YouTube gets a lot of views as far as up and comers, so that's really a good thing. It's a good avenue for somebody who's trying to strive to get to that next level. Why not?
Yeah.
Shoot your shot. Go for that. Hey, the worst that can happen is you might get a call back, or maybe something later on down the road for you.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch. I've had friends that done a lot of the tryout matches, and they're doing pretty good. Like that Casey Navarro, young little kid, smart kid, man. He's got a bright future. Wrestling. That kid is going to be like real attitude kid, but he's got it. You got Layla Hirsch. Like tough bitch that she is. Like come on, like she can throw it down, Lady Frost, and just everybody else. There's just so many names that are out there that catching people, and it's just amazing. Like and yeah, of course Joey Janela, but he doesn't. Hey, I really haven't seen him as much. I think he's really contracted with that Game Changer Wrestling a lot. He does a lot of stuff with them, Yeah,
I know before AEW started to kind of run their weekly shows on TNT. Joey Janela had his own little, show that he would do every year, some kind of Janela bash, and then he would always have a show during WrestleMania weekend as well. Because when I went down to not this past year, but the year before when they went back to Louisiana, I was there. And I saw all the different indie shows that were running that weekend. And
a lot of good promotions, a lot of good independent promotions, like Black Label Pro to freelance to you name it, Beyond Wrestling and just
just
AI
talent,
Dub.
The WWN was there. It was all Evolve. They all were running, so it was good stuff.
And then they did the collective. They had a collective just recently also, and that was a hell of a show. That was a good run that they did with that, and during the COVID. But then I guess some guys got tested or what. I didn't know what happened, but they made it happen. They just got it together and it worked. But this recently, I don't know if you saw it on the advertised on the on the web or on Game Changers or on YouTube, Twitter. They had a free show. They did a free 24-hour marathon.
Oh wow! Yeah, no, I totally missed that though.
It's on Fight TV still. It was really cool to see all the promotions and everybody and all the sponsors as well as myself. I did a whole block. I did a whole block hour at midnight.
Yep.
For what is his name? Jimmy Lloyd's Up All Night. So we saw some guys in there that just are on the scene today. They're just killing it. You know what I mean? Like there's a guy named Nolan Edward. I'm sure you heard that name. Nolan Edward. He's making his big thrive in the in the ICW's no hold barred scene right now, which is really crazy.
There's just somebody because I know with as far as restaurants being open, if you're a bar and you serve food, then you could be considered a restaurant. So that's a good little avenue to kind of stay open during this whole pandemic. So it's smart.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so if you go out to Newport Richie's where they do those, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I could travel all the damn time, but flying and driving, it's a little bit of a risk these days. You know what I mean? But it's worth it.
As far as flying, I know a few companies. I know like Southwest, they're really good on as far as social distancing is considered. But I've heard through the grapevines that other airlines aren't really going by the standards, so you got to be careful with that, especially nowadays.
Yeah, I know. And as you've traveled, and it's scary, man. Whenever you take a ride on an airplane, it's like, oh shit, man. There's a baby over there coughing. Come on, in the second, third row, seat behind you or something. You're like, oh, this is really when I want to be on a flight with this person. Come on, really?
Yeah, you just don't know these days. But fortunately and luckily, I've been to this day recently got a test. So everything came back good as good as could be.
Yeah,
no signs, nothing. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. So
those tests, because everybody's, it's scary. Like Joey, he had that scare, he had to stay home for quarantine, and I've taken a test too. Actually, I had a scare, man. It's scary, but I passed, I passed, and now I'm going for my second shot for the the flu shot, the COVID shot, second dose. My parents are a high risk. That's why. Yeah.
I think I'm on the waiting list. So.
Yeah. My sisters, they're fine. They haven't gotten it. I know. My one sister actually works with the medical company, the Merck. And so try to get something with them, but I don't know. I heard that backfired. But besides that, let's talk the wrestling. Hell with the COVID shit, right? I'm tired of hearing about it every damn day.
Yeah, trust me, that's all I ever hear about is COVID this, COVID that. Yeah, I'm through with COVID.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man. I'm so over it, and I want to be. I used to, like I said, Game Changer Wrestling, man. I'd be every week at a show, local show in Atlantic City, playing like the casino. Actually, they're doing a show in March, but I think I'll skip out. I don't want to be around a lot of people, still. I've still got that urge, but, I'd rather be safe,
I hear that,
man. But, yeah, it's, just, I enjoy watching it on TV right now as much as anything right now, which is, catching my eye and talking to people like you, and see what's going on in the world of your, what you are up to in this day and age, as a kid growing up, what was your favorite? What was it like growing up watching wrestling for you?
Well, my family is all into sports, whether it's football, basketball,
Mm-hmm.
baseball. I mean, I tried them all. The only one I was actually really good at was wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I tried playing baseball when I was in elementary school, like the little leagues and community leagues, and they
Mm-hmm.
always wanted me to be a catcher. I was trying to fit all that stuff on and having to run out there. It's too much,
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays I wear less than that, so I'm okay with
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Just
think
boots.
with all the sports, and my mom was a big, huge Redskins fan. And it's hard to be a Redskins fan. It's hard to be any kind of NFC East fan. Just throwing
Mm-hmm.
it out there, I mean, that division, I don't even want to get started with.
No.
It's night
Hey,
and day. Who's going to be on
don't.
top and who's going to be in fourth place? It's
You
just,
know what? I'm a I'm I'm an Eagles fan and a Broncos fan. No, and I can't say much because my sister's
yeah.
husband's a lawyer for the Eagles, like cop lawyer.
Yeah,
It's
so
pretty bad.
luckily, living in Northern Virginia, there's Baltimore not too far. So I was like, hey, I'm going to be a Ravens fan. And,
Mm,
so yeah, I mean, my mom, she watched, wrestling back in WCCW days, and when Dusty Rhodes was NWA champion, so
mm,
she kind of actually got me into watching it. And
mm.
as a kid, you want to go on your mom's, queen size bed and do flips and rolls and bounce around.
Yeah, go outside with your buddies or your neighborhood pals and just imagine you're having a wrestling match.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing, because when pay-per-views were still, you had to order them online, order them, through the cable, network.
Hmm.
My mom was cool. She would always order the pay-per-views. I had friends that would come over. We would all watch it, and
Hmm.
that was always just a cool moment. That was just something. Everybody's like, "Oh, did you watch, so and so beat up this guy?" It's like, "Yeah, man, that was so cool." And it was just
Hmm.
so easily to relate with everybody because a lot of my
Hmm.
friends were all into they're either skateboarding or wrestling, so
Yeah,
it was just one of those things to get into.
or BMX bikes back in the
Yeah,
day
it was
too.
BMX. Every day it was jackass wrestling or skating or biking.
or
Mountain
or
biking. So.
or dirt biking or
Well,
whatever.
they're like,
Everybody
yeah,
else
any sort of, wild and
kids
crazy
have
thing that you could possibly get hurt with. So,
exactly. Exactly, and and
and it
what was
didn't
it?
help that the Attitude Era was right around that, decade. So, of course,
Mhm.
having the ability to tell your boss to F off, that was always pretty cool. So,
Yeah. Going to your first event, do you remember? Boy, that's like always like I went to WrestleMania 5 as a kid.
that,
Like that's like nostalgia, you know what I mean? Like
let's see, I think my very first event was Starrcade '98, I believe. That's when Goldberg lost his streak and lost the title. So yeah, that was a very looking back on it as a kid, I was pissed off because Goldberg was
yeah,
the man. Looking
right.
at it now and knowing so much that I do about wrestling,
Mm.
I'm just like, oh yeah, those guys really were assholes. So
Yeah, going to in the first paper, it's like wow, we're here, we're doing this,
yeah,
and then you get it's an addiction, and then after a while, it's like all right, let's go to another pay per view, let's keep on going, let's see where
yeah.
we can
I
go.
mean, I went
Yeah.
from that to like house shows, and then I also went to a live Raw taping, which was really cool to see.
Hmm.
And I actually got to be at a hotel where the wrestlers were staying, so I got to like chill with a lot of them inside the little bar area. Like the
Yeah.
other boys were just sitting there drinking, and we were just sitting there, we had the latest issue of a buddy of mine had the latest issue of SmackDown versus Raw, and we were just having them like sign in and everything. We even had like one of the wrestlers like checking out his stats. He was like, "The heck, they only gave me a 78." We're like, "I know, man. You should have been like an 85."
yeah, but it's you're like, oh man, why does he have to get his autograph right now? But I just want to talk to these dudes. They don't want to be bothered. They want to just chill.
Yeah,
it's like
you know, this is really relaxing, you know. But they're all cool, which is
they are
really cool. So, and then of course, you know, my mom saw Dustin Rhodes, and she was talking to him about Dusty Rhodes. So you know, that kind of made it cool for her to have that kind of like connection.
Yeah, and there was actually connection. Actually, a town my mom grew up in Colorado. Dusty actually went. There was this. I guess when he was doing, he was into heavily drinking. He went back to that hotel, back to that area, and I guess had a fight with somebody at a bar. Isn't that crazy? Like, I still have the story somewhere. I'll have to send it to you. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on airplanes where like I ran into Mick Foley, and I didn't even know. Like, I knew it was Mick Foley, but I was so like as a kid, I was so starstruck. I was like, "Holy crap, it's Mick Foley!" And he just, you know, did his little like, "Hey, what's up?" kind of wave. And, you know, me being a kid, just like, "Oh my God, here's Mick Foley."
You know what? Like me as a kid, yeah, I went to a local show and I actually saw Mick Foley face Doug Gilbert in a hardcore match. Like, wow, like I didn't realize, you know, fast forward, and then I got to see him progress, you know, as Cactus Jack, and you know, and then I actually went to was it Allentown, Pennsylvania, to an expo, like, you know, a convention, and there Bill Apt built huge wrestling with wrestling, of course, and Bill Apter was there. So I go up and at Q&A, there was a Q&A session. Mick Foley was up there. I'm like, let me go up here. Let me ask a question to Mick. What was it like falling off the steel cage versus Undertaker? I just threw that in my head, you know what I mean? Like, really quick. I didn't know, you know what I mean? What to ask Mick Foley, you know? He was scared. He was scared. Then after that, I go to a restaurant, the McDonald's. There's Mick Foley having a hamburger. You know, just the way that he was, man. Just the nicest person, and scary. I wonder.
It's cool because a lot of these guys that you would never think of are so down to earth. Like Paul Bear, and you know, one of his sons wrestles as well. So I was able to meet, you know, his dad, Paul Bear, through him, and you know, having a regular conversation, and he was just, you know.
Oh, he was a funny. I'll tell you what, Paul Bear was funny. I've met him at a local show for like it was called like it was a Cardi promotion called NWS, but he'd be there with Kamala and just hacking it up, you know, just really like having a good time. And then I remember him and Luna Vachon were at a show together. I was like, I have a picture there somewhere in my past, you know, my past pictures. But my gosh, just to think, two people that died, like, you know what I mean? Like, I had the opportunity to meet.
Yeah, well, actually, even and
Kamala, of course, Kamala as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to share the ring with Paul Bear / Percy Pringle, and during an angle where he like turned from a babyface manager to a heel manager, and he took whatever item that he had to knock me out with was his shoe, and he said, "You better make this shoe knock you out," and I just went dead afterwards because you know, if Percy Pringle tells you, you know, you better get knocked out by this shoe, you better get knocked out by this shoe.
Yeah, can you imagine? I remember going to a Jake the Snake you know, comedy show, and you know, he was talking about like Paul Bearer and all these other guys just goofing around, and you know, of course, Miyagi, Mr. Fuji, you know, or I mean, Mr. Fuji was always pulling pranks on people.
Yeah.
Always, and he would actually take his shoes off and go to the bathroom and shit and put him onto like the Iron Sheik hacksaw Jim Duggan or somebody who was sitting in the front row seat, before him in the airport, in his seat with shit. Just crazy stuff they would do,
Back in the day, you could get away with that kind of stuff. Nowadays, not so much.
No, not like these guys. I need, like these. They need to cut the shenanigans out more and pay attention to the wrestling. Like the AEW guys. That Sammy Guevara guy. He needs to, quit goofing around backstage.
Sammy's actually a Texan. He's from Houston, of course. So
yeah.
a lot of the stuff that I see him do, I'm well aware of because he's been doing it for years here in the Indies. So now that he's, in a professional company, he still does it, which, I would think, you would try to progress, but, hey, what do I know?
Yeah, but he still does his vlogs. He'll mention his vlog and this and that. And I'm like, come on, Sammy, you've done this for so long now. Cut it. Take a break.
Yeah, well, hey, if it ain't broke, you don't need to
now
fix
he's got.
it.
Now, I mean, hell, he has these guys are getting figures. I was just looking at these action. Now, I guess Luchasaurus has one. Like they're mocking. It looks insane. Like these.
So
I wish I had a figure.
It makes you wonder: is Marco Stunt going to have a normal size figure, or will it be a small figurine?
Good question.
That's a good question.
It's probably going to be small.
It's going to be small
because he is a small person.
Yes, he is. Bless his heart.
Tough worker, man. Tough little worker, man. He came from, the Mid-South area, and just worked his way up the ladder, to just where he is today. I mean, I remember watching him at Game Changer Wrestling coming out of the crowd at the versus KTB, the Beast, like in New York City. Like, all right, this guy's going to make his impact in wrestling. And I guess they caught his eye,
Hey, I mean, he's got something because, he's doing a lot more than what I'm doing. So I can't hate on the guy.
You know what, man? If you have what you have, do it. Your strive is, you want to be on TV. Do you really want to live the 24/7, this 24/7 hour lifestyle like the WWE does? Do you want that, or do you want to be just, yourself and just enjoy going to an indie, doing indie shows? If the opportunity was right,
This is true.
It's like getting signed to the army, like you're away from your family,
Yeah, well, at least, from what I could see, Sammy's, pretty much here and there as far as, going to Jacksonville and then flies back to Houston. So I think at least with them, I guess with this whole pandemic, actually a lot more people are actually able to, spend time with their families because they're not having to travel to all these different cities. They're usually just stuck in one city. So I guess that's the only benefit is that, they're not on the road so many days out of the week.
Yeah, and I always, I always tell everybody, you guys, you're passionate. It's not about the money. It's about the enjoyment of just putting a smile on somebody's face,
Yeah. There is no off season, so we're doing this, a lot, 365 days out of the year. Sometimes more. So.
Could you imagine? I would be like, oh, dude, I really haven't. Like, you have to be away from your family. You have to travel every day. Like, it's like WWE, it's like lights, camera, action. All right, it's go time every day.
Yeah.
Every day is a new day. Every day is a new day. Just get up. It's like being on an action set. You have to set up your state. All the gear, the filming gear, and the actors got to get ready for their parts. Which is
I watched a lot of Stone Cold's Broken Skull challenge. Broken Skull. And he makes mention that a lot of his kids, he missed birthdays, he missed graduations, he missed a lot of moments being on the road. So it's just
And,
something that we
don't get me
do, something we have to deal with.
and don't get me wrong, his beer is excellent.
I haven't tried it, so I wouldn't know.
No, really, gotta. Yeah, you're in Texas. You could get that. I think it's hard to get in Jersey. You have to go to a up, I guess, up North Jersey somewhere to get it. But or you go on the website and order it. I might do that later.
Yeah, because I know it's an IPA style beer, so I'm gonna look into it.
He actually tweeted, or somebody tweeted me out on it. I was like, "Oh, great, thanks," because I had a picture. I was drinking it on it. My friend got me one. I was like, "Yes, this is." He had one. I'm like, "Okay, let me try it." Not bad, yeah. But yeah, ooh, maybe that's what I can get for my birthday. Order a case of that.
There you
Nice.
go.
But besides wrestling, man, what catches your eye in like movies, current movies or TV shows? What do you like? What's Cobra Kai? I've been talking about a lot lately.
Oh, I love Cobra Kai. I mean, I'm just, of course, we have to wait another year for another season to come out. So,
Yeah, fourth is coming out soon. I cannot wait. Can't wait for the
yeah,
final season. I was doing a couple days ago with my friend, my other podcaster. We were doing like and another friend wrestler. We did like a challenge. We were like top five who could be the lead roles as wrestlers, like who could play the roles of the wrestlers. You know?
well, I can see that. That's pretty cool. Little concept there.
Yeah, yeah, because you had Mr. Fuji as Miyagi.
That's why you were trying to say Mr. Miyagi earlier. I was just like, oh, he's a big Cobra Kai fan.
Yeah, he is right. No, but yeah, you could see the different. If you had to choose, who would it be? I'm sure probably the same answers as my friends
Yeah,
had.
I mean, either that or Funaki.
hmm
I can see Funaki or the Great Muda. I can see him as being a Mr. Miyagi.
hmm And what about Daniel?
Daniel LaRusso. That's tough. Uh, I would say Mustafa Ali. I can see him if he didn't have the long hair. Maybe it was a little bit shorter. I can
What
see him
about John?
or Dominic Mysterio. Yeah, because he kind of has that. He still has the baby face look, so he could kind of get away with it.
What about Johnny? The other
Johnny,
guy. Yeah.
who could be Johnny?
Uh,
I
that's a
mean,
good one. Yeah.
I would think that's more like a Dean Ambrose, that arrogant kind of style,
hmm
punker. Yeah, I can definitely see Dean or John Moxley being that kind of that fit that bill.
Yeah. Let's see now. Who would be the other guy? The oh god, what's his name? The real sensei. The other sensei.
Yeah,
Uh,
Chris. Ooh, who would be? I mean, that's
I
up there
know.
with like a Vince McMahon,
Oh God. Yeah, yeah, Daniel Larusso, get out of here. I'm gonna kick your ass now on stage.
I mean,
But
like if you think like '90s Mr. McMahon, especially when he was doing the whole, it was me, Austin. It was me all along. I can see him doing the whole kind of Carice thing,
mhm. Yeah,
showing no
that's a
mercy, showing no
mhm.
mercy. Yeah.
Yeah, no mercy. And I was trying to like figure out who could the girls be, who could those
Girls,
two, like the girlfriends, like the one in Japan, or the
yeah.
girlfriend that he had in the original movie.
I think the girl from Japan could be Weehoo.
hmm Or oh no, it could be like a Sonny Sonny Sumaisuka. No, no, Su Young. Could be a
So
Su
yeah,
Young. Tough bitch, tough lady she is, man. Su
yeah.
Young's badass, tearing it up everywhere she goes. Look where she is. What Impact still? She's tearing it up. It's
I
unbelievable.
mean, go where the money is. I mean, if
hmm
she's. I mean, you don't see any other promotion. I mean, you got all these other kind of dark demoness characters, and Impact doesn't really have one. So I guess might as well go do it there.
Yeah. Well, they have that one character that's weird girl. You I really don't know what she crawls under the ring or something like the Fiend or somebody. You know. I don't care for that character. You know what I mean? That's like
The
that.
Fiend.
Yeah, I don't think that'll last too long. You know what I mean? That's like one of those characters. They'll just die it off. But to see Sting in the ring, my gosh, there's a guy who, just to see where he's come from. Like, actually, is it next week or so? A couple weeks, he's facing,
Is
he's
it
getting in the
Darby?
ring. Yeah, him and Darby are facing Jericho or whoever. Yeah. It's going to be good.
I mean, it's good. I'm happy for him. It's cool that he's back. I would have loved to see the whole. I mean, I think anybody would have loved to see Undertaker and Sting. That's just one of those matches that we wish we got. But of course, we had Triple H who stuck his nose, his big old honker into the mix and stole that little thunder. But
I remember going. I remember going to Triple H. I seen Triple H when he made his, at SummerSlam, when he came back, from his knee injury. Really been I totally forgot about that. I was there for that. Like I'm I'm like the MetLife Stadium or Giants Stadium, and I'm like, holy shit. That's Triple H, man. Here he is. Like what 200 section looking down. But actually, they panned the audience. They panned the crowd with the Rey Mysterio match, and there I am behind some kid's sign. I'm like, really?
nice.
Come on.
And he goes do the whole little circle on the screen and be like, that was me.
That was me. That was me calling everybody up. It's like my time. That's like the time I went to New York City for the Sunday Night Heat when they were taping at the WBF restaurant. I was there for
those are the days, man. I've always, when they were doing that, I was always like, man, I want to go to Madison Square Garden, just in Times Square, just so I could see that, But of course,
yeah, no, but the experience. My rush at the time, it was Michael Cole and Taz doing the commentary. Like, holy shit, this is awesome! And the guest was Christian. I guess that on stage he was going to be on the guest, but they and I really didn't. As a kid, worldwide, I'm on TV with worldwide. Holy shit! Like not thinking, and call my mom up. Hey, would you tape this for me? I'm going to be on TV this week.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And then actually, the angle was, I think it was Taz versus Christian. It was Christian, they had an angle there with Taz and Christian in the ring, or Edge, and then they went to a commercial, they went to the Booker T. Actually, it was Booker T and Stone Cold at the supermarket.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, they were having that match at the supermarket. Pretty fun night, just to see all that. I found a video of it. It's like the whole Funaki was out in the ring. Who was it? Chuck Colombo. Remember that character? God. That was like.
I think Billy Gunn and Chuck had a tag team. They did a wedding in the ring too.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that was they were I forget what they were, but I think Big Show. Yeah, Big Show. Perry Saturn was there. I'm like, holy shit! This is like I got to see these guys wrestle like on TV. I'm like watching TV, excited, not knowing really, that it's all pre-taped and all.
It's nostalgia, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then they closed the restaurant. I was like, damn, son of a bitch,
Yeah, never got that opportunity, so. I always wanted to. It was always like, hey, bucket list, go to Times Square.
Restaurant. Yeah, go to Times. Every time I'm in Connecticut, since my uncle lives or my cousins live right up the road, I always pass the headquarters. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go say hi to Vince, or I'm gonna put a sign outside the door. Yeah. Crazy. Fun.
Those were good old days, man.
Yeah, I know. I had perks. I know. My cousin's wife was actually like a real estate agent, and she actually worked with Triple or she got perks for like WWE. Sent me some. I could have had tickets. I was like, damn, you
That's
know.
cool.
I know, but I got hats and all that. Couple of the stupid, But actually, my cousin was actually the one who. He's an architect, and he actually helped design Triple H's house.
That's neat. That's
Yeah,
something most people can't really say. So hey, it's pretty
yeah,
cool.
exactly. Hmm. Be like, yeah, he built his house. Yeah.
But yeah, the guy that's on TV, yeah, he built his house. It's cool.
Hmm. Yeah. But then he made more money by being on GQ or a realtor, big company. Like news story, which was awesome too. But man, what kind of music you into? What's your twist these days? Like, what are you into?
Oh, I mean, I listen to just about anything except for country. I'm not a big country fan, even though I live in Texas. And, as crazy as
Yeah,
that sounds, people are like, oh my God, how can you live in Texas and not like country music? It's like, well, first of all, I wasn't born
I,
in Texas,
I can
so
listen. I
you
can
know,
listen to I can listen to Old Town Road country song for millions of times on YouTube. Okay, come on, I want to take my horse. you know,
yeah. But, my 5-year-old, that's one of her favorites. So whenever she wants to listen to it, I'm like, all right, here you go, baby girl. So you kind of have to,
Mhm.
you know, guys are like, all right, that's enough country for today. And
Yeah,
so,
it is. Yeah, it's not like the days when people would just throw on a TV and there's Garth Brooks playing, blame it all on our roots. Come on, like
yeah,
I don't even know who is the big singer now these days in country.
I
I
can't
don't.
honestly tell you.
I
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And then they got these country rap artists out there that try to cut albums. It's like, really, come on,
it's all
like,
over the place, man.
huh? They've lost their minds. You
Yeah,
know.
it's too much mixing, and it's gotten out of hand. I mean,
Hmm.
I'm good like old, Aerosmith, freaking Linkin
Metallica, yes.
Park, Linkin Park, Tool,
Mm,
guys like
mm,
that. Houston, they have this a concert. It's called it's through a radio station.
mm,
And it used to be before the whole pandemic started. It used to be a yearly thing,
mm.
and they would always bring in POD and Drowning Pool, and
Yeah,
guys like that, and for
yeah.
their shows. And I remember one year I got to go, see them, see like Disturbed, and
Mm.
man, watching the Disturbed concert was just so exhilarating. I mean, they really put a lot of work into their set. It is just an awesome
You
thing to
know,
watch.
I- I'll tell you what. I got to go see Aerosmith, or not Aeros. Gosh, not Aerosmith. Who? Uh, Alice Cooper. Excuse me.
Oh, nice.
I got to see Alice Cooper. Game Changer Wrestling was doing a wrestling under a tent, and it was a rainy night. It was a shitty night at a little baseball stadium, and so I was like, man, I wish I could go see some music concerts tonight, Dad. Since we're here at the show, I did the filming backstage. I was like Facebook Live with the camera, walking around ring for a match. Actually, still have the match. Nick Gage's brother, Nate Hatred. But I talked to the owner. He's like, hey, for $40, I can get you 2 tickets. Go watch this Alice Cooper. So me and my dad threw some ponchos on and stood up front and watched Alice Cooper on stage. Dude, it was
Awesome.
awesome. It was awesome experience to see all those marionettes and just the way that that big huge Frankenstein and just
That is
insane.
cool. Especially, hey, if only paying for $40 and you got to be that close, that's really cool.
Exactly. And then like another time, I'll never forget. Another wrestling. Every time it's like a wrestling show, I got lucky. But right before he died, I got to see Stone Temple Pilots play.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
badass.
That's actually, I remember going to that wrestling show. Same thing. Game Changer Wrestling had a show, and it was actually Gulak was in the ring wrestling that night too. So that was awesome. Just like a fun night to see Drew Gulak wrestling. And then they go to see this Stone Temple Pilots and all these other bands just everywhere. Just walking. Actually, I think Disturb was there too, but I didn't. I really was there for like Stone Temple Pilots because I wanted to hear Plush.
Yeah, that's a heck of a good night.
Heck yeah. If you could go to these concerts nowadays, it's like wow. Well, what is a concert now? It's all visual.
It's all visual.
It's all on. Buy a ticket online and watch this pay-per-view right now.
Yeah. Skippy.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this before we close our podcast out. Well, actually, you have a match coming up, don't you? Versus this guy that we were talking. You told me about. That's really. Actually, do we still have this flyer? I think I got it. Are you ready? Let's talk about this guy right here. If I could do this, wish me luck. Actually, let me close this. Let me put this over here. Let's see if this works. Come on. Do we have it? Do I have it? Where is it? Where did I put it? Is that on the screen? Can you see this? Let's see. Can you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
There we go. Let's talk about this right here coming up.
This weekend, man, Saturday. I'm going to Perkinson, Mississippi. Never been to Perkinson, Mississippi. Actually, it's going to be my first time wrestling for this SWA. Mm-hmm. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how, things have. I mean, I've been to Mississippi before, but this is going to be first time since the whole pandemic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing, seeing some, more fans. It's always good because as long as you see fans in the stands, it's kind of like a step forward to get it back to normalcy. And of course, I got a little troll by the name of Rob Horn that likes to run his mouth.
Run his mouth. Yeah, it's always somebody has to go and say something,
I mean, I get it. He's trying to, like I said earlier, he's trying to shoot his shot. He wants, a chance at the title, but he thinks that, that I'm scared of him, that, I'm threatened by big, nasty Rob Horn. And, to me, actions speak louder than words. So, he's talking all this talk. But come Saturday, we're going to see what really goes down because I'm not just going to let him. When it comes to us being in the ring, I'm going to shut that mouth down. So
know your role.
I mean, I'm not the great one. I don't lay the smack down, but I can definitely put a mud hole stomp in it. A motherfucker. So hey, Rob wants it. He can come and get it. I mean,
you can run. You can run.
He likes to say that he's they did all this damage, all this physical, mental, and psychological business. It's like, man, for me, my whole character is based around being a member of the darkness. I embrace it. It's my ally. And Rob Horn likes to try to play games with him. I'm just like, you're messing with the wrong guy. Darkness is my friend. I don't know why you're trying to. There's nothing that you could do that's gonna damage me. I'm just gonna smile and laugh at you if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, and then you could be like, you could run, but you can't hide because you know what? It's all over when you're down on that mat. 1, 2, 3. It's done. And then
exactly. Yeah. as soon as I throw my mask on, it's it's gonna be lights out. 1, 2, 3.
Call them call it night and go home.
Exactly.
But also I'm looking on this card, and you actually have had him on my podcast before. Dale Springs, what a character he is. He's a great guy.
The was it the granddaddy of golfing?
That's the golfing. Yes, golfing daddy. Yes, the
Yeah.
golfer.
For whatever reason, his character just reminds me of Happy Gilmore. That just comes to mind right off the bat. I'm just like, dude, that's awesome. I can't hate on the guy. Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite movies. I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. I watched every Adam Sandler movie that's known to man, even the worst of Adam Sandler movies. But yeah, when I saw Dale Springs, I'm just like, dude, you could have a better gimmick. Like that's just awesome.
Yeah, he's got a good gimmick. He and bright future as well. Everybody else, all you guys, bright future. Like you guys are just killing the scene. I'm proud of you. Which is awesome. You come from a small world. It's like, all right, this is my job. I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to go home, and that's it. Call it a night.
Call it a night.
But let's
Steve Weiser.
Yes. Let me ask you this question before we call it a night. Okay, if you had to pick a legend or a current wrestler to wrestle, who's dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh man, see that's so hard because I can't just pick one. Like there's so many. I mean, if I had to, there's like different levels, like as far as working with like a Ricky the Steamboat, just because the athleticism and
yes.
He's just so smooth in the ring. It's it's effortless. Like he doesn't even have to try. He goes in there, he does what he needs to do, and you just immediately captivated by what he can do. Like when he was at the WrestleMania, wrestling Jericho, that was so cool. And he was already 60 years old by that time doing that. That was awesome. Watching that, I was just like, man, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's like one of those. That's my idol. I want to watch this guy. I grew up watching Ricky the Dragon Steamboat era. Like this guy really had something to prove. Like these guys really came from the era, and they don't get noticed. It's like the Paul Orndorffs or the Rudes. Like
those. That would be cool to do. Like if I got a chance to mix it up with Ricky, that would be like a dream come true.
Mm-hmm. And throw on his Buddha mask or his fire breathing apparatuses, and
I do some fire of my own, just so that way can intimidate the man because hey, that whole fire thing already, it's a pretty hard thing to do. I'd be afraid of swallowing it.
Yeah. Actually, I remember this guy did it for a gimmick, and man, so close. I'm like watching this shit, dude. Are you really gonna do this? Don't do it, man. What a stupid, like all these guys on the end. You ever watch like these Game Changer shows and you see like the elbow pad, with that guy Schlack, like that dude. That's nuts. You know what I mean? When he does it, actually, the last show, they caught it on camera at that the fight Game Changers Fight Forever thing, and the camera guy almost got burnt.
Wow.
So he got a shot. I'm sure he shot a picture. Like,
I wonder if he gets hazardous pay for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, who knows? Shout out to Earl Gardner. One of the hell of a bet. Shout out to him for great photography. That's about it. But all right, man. Let's call it. Let's call it a night because I got to get up. It's Friday already. I got to work. I'm a garbage man by day, so let's. I used to be a garbage man. Now I'm a metal man.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Where else are people? What other events are coming up? You have so much you got lined up. You were telling me.
Yeah, I got of course, Coastal Wrestling Federation, they had an event for the following weekend, but due to restrictions, they're not able to run until March. So we're, having to deal with that. But, just follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I have a little bit of a follower on Twitter, but hey, it could be bigger. So, follow me on Twitter. So then that way, you can see where I'm going to be. See me defend the Elevate Pro Heavyweight Championship. See me defend the Coastal Wrestling Federation Heavyweight title as well. And just, I'm always there. I'm always posting something. So follow me.
The owner of that company, I used to be a wrestler in my hometown in the mid-'90s. You know that, right?
Which one?
Huh?
You talking about the Coastal Wrestling?
Evolve.
Elevate, yeah.
Elevate, yeah. Used to be a wrestler back in my day. I know. He knows. What's his name? I've had him on the podcast. It's kind of wild. The owner. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about Woods? Is it Benjamin Woods?
Yes. Yeah. Good man. Great character. He had a great career in the Indies back in his day. He had a run for a local promotion, and I got to see him all the time. It was great to see him. Yeah,
I've seen some of his stuff. He had a pretty intense looking dreadlock hairstyle going on back then. So
the Jamaican style.
With his short hair. Yeah, seeing him now with his short hair is kind of, I have to chuckle at him a little bit.
Mm. Let's put your links back up here now that I got cleared the screen. You know that? There we go. Everybody can find you. Follow this guy. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm high tech on it. I'm on it.
Boom.
So, boom. Follow you on Twitter, this and that, right?
Yes, sir. Follow me.
And support him and buy some merch. And that's it. Live the style.
I got new merch online. So, yeah, check them out.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dark, let's do another one. I'd like to have you come back on.
Definitely, yeah.
Down the line. Mm-hmm. Even though the time difference is off.
Yeah, I gotta get used to that. I always forget. I'm like, oh wait, I'm in Central Time Zone. Maybe I should check and find out when.
Yeah. It's all good. We got it though. We did it.
Sure.
Thank you for coming on, and have a good night.
You too, man. Be easy.
Yep. Be good. All right, fans. You heard it here from the Dark Heart himself. He's ready for his. He's got the two belt champ right there. He's got a match this Saturday, and he's versus Ben, or the guy he was talking about, and I can't even think of the names. I'm going to go back on here, and so I'm not being dumb. Yes. Yeah, he's got a match versus. Oh God, my brain is freezing. What did you just tell me? Here it is. Got it. Rob Horn. He's got a match tomorrow night on Saturday night with Rob Horn. He's talking trash. Rob is talking smack. It's about to go down Saturday night. Going for the 1, 2, 3 as Blackheart, as Darkheart will take him on and call it a night and go home and win victorious. All right, fans, it's been real. But you know what? Deathmatch Russell podcast is nonstop schedule this week. Keeping track. Tomorrow night is Friday night, February 5th. And you will see on my podcast, my guest will be Kaya McKeena, and was just featured on the recent, as I said before, Game Changer presented Fight Forever, which was on YouTube and on Fight TV, and is still on Fight TV. You could check it out. She faced Holodead in a one-on-one match, and she's coming on the podcast tomorrow night. at 8 p.m. I'll be talking to her and see what she's up to and much, much more. We're going to talk wrestling and other stuff. And then on Monday night, stay tuned for Monday because my guests, well, I'm going to be on a podcast. It will be aired on, I believe, I'm going to double check my schedule here, folks. So just, yes, at 7 p.m. I'm going to be on a podcast on Monday night at 7 p.m. I'm going to be on the Juicy Pro Wrestling podcast. I'm going to be talking to them and see what's going on with them and talk wrestling and have a good night of wrestling talk. And also, fans, stay tuned because my guests coming up. I'm looking at my dates because there's so much coming up. Stay tuned Wednesday night, just February 10th at 8 p.m. My guest, pro wrestler, Grey Wolf, Raven Thorne will be on the podcast, and we'll be talking to him as well. Thank you, fans, for listening. Have a good night, everybody. Till next time.
You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media: DeathmatchRussell.com, follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32, and on Facebook, Facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Find me on Podcast City Network at PodcastCity.net, Facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share, and on Twitter at PodcastCityNet. You can hear Deathmatch Russell podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes. Hey, wrestling fans, check out BootandHeel.com for all your independent wrestlers, apparel, and more. Also, check out Deathmatch Russell Podcast as well. www.bootandheel.com.